Welcome to the Mindful Educator Podcast. This is a place to come if you're seeking calm amongst the chaos, transformation and personal shifts, inspiring conversations, and practical advice to help you build a more balanced and fulfilling life. Come join me, your host, Victoria R. I'm a mum, teacher, coach, mindfulness instructor, multi-business owner, and city-turned-country girl, and I'm sharing the lessons I wish I had known sooner. Let's take this journey of personal growth and meaningful change together. Hey, all right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mindful Educator Podcast. I have the beautiful Jen joining me today, and Jen is a sleep consultant, and we've done a course together down in Perth. So we got to spend a week together, which was amazing, and we both had lots of fun learning lots of new things. And Jen has come on to chat to us today, all things about sleep and parenting and how she can pretty much help us hopefully function a little bit better as adults and children once we have decent night's sleep. So welcome, Jen. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Vic. I feel blessed to be here and I can't wait to chat to you today.
Hey, all right. Well, let's dive straight in. So firstly, Jen, can you just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Amazing. Yeah. So my name's Jen. I am the founder of Sleep Thrive Grow. I've had my sleep consulting business now for 6 years. But prior to my sleep consulting business, I was a registered nurse for part of the business as well, juggling the two. And I have just always had such compassion to supporting others. And it's just I feel like it's in my genes. But yeah, it's just been a natural progression from nursing into this business when I had kids of my own. So I have 3 kids. I have a almost 14-year-old boy, a 12-year-old girl, and a 9-year-old girl. And you know, they have brought so much of my experience and learning into my coaching, and they're just beautifully different in, every single way, especially my third. My third has really shaped a lot of my coaching. She is a firecracker, you could call her politely spirited if you like, but she definitely, for me as a parent, has taught me so much, taught me where I needed to grow, where I needed to build capacity, and just work on my inner world to support hers. And yeah, it's just been an amazing learning journey in my business and as a parent. And I just love sharing that through my work as well.
Well, that's so good. And yeah, something about those third children, they're definitely they're definitely a different breed, I reckon.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is different.
Yeah, you think you've got it, and then the third comes along.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, and I love how like you've mentioned that nurturing is just like a part of you, and obviously going into nursing, definitely like that's obviously a huge thing when you are being a nurse. And then, yeah, what made you decide that understanding sleep and like helping people with sleep was where you wanted to go, or was it just one of those things that you kind of ended up happening as a result of your own experiences? Like, what led you on this path?
Yeah, I think for me, because I had studied as a nurse, I was really good at helping people. I was able to sort of pick the gaps and be like, this patient needs this to move forward in their treatment. Really worked on building that connection and rapport and making them feel as safe as possible within whatever situation they were in. My nursing was, in medical, in surgical, in different parts. So experiencing a lot of vulnerability and a lot of, they really needed that support. So for me, I thought I had parenting in the bag. I thought, oh my gosh, like motherhood's just going to be a walk in the park. And I gave birth to my son and I was like, what are you trying to tell me? Like, what are you doing? I just don't know. And I just felt really, for the first time in a long time, really out of control, overwhelmed, really highly anxious. You've got this precious little being in front of you. You want to do the best for them and you want to get it right. And I kept just like, I put a lot of pressure on myself. When I reflect back, I can see that. But I just felt like I was missing a big knowledge and understanding gap. And I knew that in order to feel more confident in my parenting, that gap needed to be filled in some way, because all my other life experiences had told me that if you build that knowledge and understanding already, you've just got that backup moving into a situation. So it led me on a path to understand him. I wanted to know about development. I wanted to know what's kind of normal, what's expected. This is really broad. I use this very sort of wisely in my coaching. There is norms, but there's so much outside of that. But it does help give us a baseline of like, they cry for 3 hours a day. Oh, okay, that's normal. It's not something I've created.
Yeah.
So just some basic norms around baby development,
Mm.
understanding how they're going to progress through that first year. I found that to be just really helpful for me. It also helped soften myself, and gave me more self-compassion. But that was the first step. And then it was knowing about sleep and knowing about nervous systems and preparation. And, sleep is it is a separation for our kids a lot of the time. If we're not practicing co-sleeping or contact naps all day long, every day or every night, we know there's a separation involved. And I really wanted to set my child up as best as I could to feel safe internally, to get the best rest that he needed, because I started to see every time he had a good sleep, oh my God, it was just parenting was joyous. Like there was interaction, there was connection, there was just a happy kid. And then that just had a massive roll-on effect for me. So that's sort of spurred my interest. But at that time, I was just doing it for myself, our family, just building that trust, rapport, that safety between us in our relationship as mum and child. And then I guess people started to sniff what I was doing, or friends started to be like,
I saw how
what
well
did
you looked.
yeah, they're like, what's going on here? Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? And, I couldn't really pinpoint what I was doing. I was focusing on our relationship, understanding, learning, growing with him. And yes, over my coaching, I've known that that's such a big step and there's so much overwhelm even in that. So for me, I guess friends started asking, family members started asking, and I got to a point where people started saying, you should really do this for a living. You've got so much knowledge to share. I really think you should do it. And it kind of started to tickle something inside of me.
Yeah.
I also then got to repeat it with my second child and realized it wasn't a fluke. And okay, she was very different. She was a
Yeah.
cat napper. She didn't feed as well as my son, but I still managed to navigate some core foundations that really help build a a good sleep situation, basically,
Mm.
just getting the best out of what I could achieve. And yeah, it just went on to that curiosity of starting to coach other people. And I thought, why not? Let's just give it a go. I then just didn't want to spend my whole coaching saying, oh, this is what I did, so why don't you do this?
Yeah.
Which led me on more study to get certified as an internationally recognized sleep consultant, which has then led me on to doing studies in nervous system regulation and emotional regulation. And yeah, it's just evolutionized my coaching as I've got more curious about the difficulties we have in early parenting and
Mm.
where parents may struggle more than others. There's no right or wrong, but I really want to be able to support people where they're at. And yeah, then Sleep Thrive Grow is just growing and continuing. So yeah.
Oh, I love this. And yeah, it's so interesting because, yeah, like you mentioned, you handed this baby and it's like, well, what do I do? Like, you don't
100%.
know about like what's normal in terms of sleeping and
Mm,
eating and all the rest of it. So, yeah, I love the fact that you're like, you know what, let's find out.
yeah.
Let's like kind of get some baseline understanding here. And I think that's so important because so much much of the time we focus on the pregnancy and the birth, and it's like, well, actually, we've also got to look at what happens once we get home. And yeah, I love how it's grown so organically for you as well. Like it's
Mm.
been just that thing that's kind of progressed. And yeah, it seems like you've got a really good philosophy about it as well, that it's not a strict kind of one size fits all policy. Like, and I know that there's quite a few other sleep consultants out there that probably do follow something like that. So how do you differ in regards to this? How is yours, I suppose, yeah, focusing on the nervous system, the more holistic approach to sleep? What do you do that's a little bit different there?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I really try and drop as many rules as possible. Some parents come to me and they'll say, "Oh, I've been told I have to feed half an hour before sleep, or I have to do this." And I'm like, we don't have to do anything. Is it working for you? Is it not? So
Yeah.
really trying to work out what is actually working for them, what's not working, and creating that safety in that experimentation. Like, let's try this. This is what I think we should give a go. We can see how it's landing for you and your baby and pivot if we need to. So, confidence in learning on the job, experimenting, not feeling like there is this rule book, this manual that it seems to feel like there is one, but there really isn't. So I try and steer it clear of that. Sleep is multifactorial. It's not just about settling, it's not just about environment. There's nutrition, there's our nervous system. There's so many pieces of the puzzle that can really help make sleep sustainable and optimal for families. We also don't just have these perfect like schedules in our life that we don't have any other life to live, and we're like, oh yes, we're just designed to pop our baby down at this time every day and feel completely regulated at that time all
Yeah.
the time. And that's how it goes. So I think a lot of what I coach as well is understanding the client. What's their life like? You know, have they got a FIFO
Mm.
husband? Are they a working mum? Is this child going to daycare as well? Like, and really piecing and helping together understand their capacity, their baby's capacity, what's normal, what are they on this earth to do. Like our babies, I think sometimes we think they should get our expectations, but they are on this earth to connect with you. Like connection is the biggest driver. They want to feel attached. Like that is what they're seeking for safety. They are purely in survival. Their brain is so primitive. So if we can say they just literally want to know that they're safe, that they've got that consistency in caregiving, that they can rely on someone to soothe them if they need to, and we kind of build off that. So it really, honestly, Vic, looks so different for everyone I work with. I stay clear of like methods, you know, pop your baby down, pick up after 5 minutes, then rock 2 times, and then do this. I just,
Yeah.
you know, as much as some type A mums that I work with are like, give me the method, like,
Yeah.
let me do this. There's definitely strategy to certain points, like when we know about the science of sleep and how our circadian rhythm works. There's ways we do bring strategy in
Yeah.
to really help timings of feeding and sleep to be like, well, a hungry baby won't sleep. So it makes sense a
Mm.
feed is placed here or where solids fitting into the mix.
Yeah.
So there is strategy, but then when it comes to sleep itself, a lot of what I'm working with on parents is reducing the urgency, understanding what is that communication we're seeing, not just hearing the cry. What is their body language doing? Because
Mm.
our system just wants to be like cry, fix, stop. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's the primary things our babies do that creates overwhelm, urgency, fix it mode. And but we also know that development of our babies emotions will be crying, and it's about trying to get curious as to what's going on around that cry. So a big thing that we see as they move through coaching is seeing every night wake as a night wake. And then suddenly they start to see, like, oh, this night wake they needed X. And then this night wake they needed XYZ. And just
Mm.
being able to have that clarity without feeling like you're trying to throw spaghetti at the wall, hoping it sticks, and just being
Yeah.
like, I'm doing all the things the internet's telling me to do. Like I'm patting them in this cot, or I'm doing this and
Mm.
it's just not working. It's really trying to zoom out, settle everything down. And I help bridge that sort of gap in terms of that communication from baby to mum, because
Yeah.
they love their babies so much. Like they just want to do the best for their
Yeah.
babies. It's not done out of anything else, it's pure love driven. And they just want to soothe and support them. But in that mixed, it triggers us, our nervous system, and it can get really messy. And before you know it, you just feel so lost. You're scrolling on the internet going, well, my baby's woken at 2 a.m. What does that mean? And you're just getting more and more overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And we just have to turn down that noise and focus on your relationship, what your family needs, And it can look so many different ways. Like I cannot express, like I'll have a client co-sleeping all night long and they just wanted to reduce some of the feeding and have some other tools to use. There'll be another family that are practicing solo sleeping in a cot space because that works for them. Some have a mixture
Mm,
of both. Some are contact, some are,
yeah.
there's no right or wrong. It's all about your relationship, your attachment, and what feels at capacity for you.
Yeah. Oh, and this is so refreshing to hear. Honestly,
Oh, so
it
glad.
on yeah, it is because I mean, I love my three, but they were never the best sleepers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where were you? You were probably going through at the same time I was. But
Yes.
yeah, it is just so refreshing because I remember being in that position and being like, I don't know what to do. And I remember waking up my husband several times, like, I literally can't get this baby to sleep. And, I know you hear about the thing, the baby picks up on your emotions. And it's true. Like when you're
Mm,
feeling like, oh my God, just sleep. Like I'm so tired. I need to go to bed now. And they're not, they're not sleeping. Of course, it's just like this cycle and you can't get out of it. So, like I said, it is so refreshing to know that there's someone like you that is able to go, you know what, let's look at your situation. Let's see what's unique for your family and make it work
mm,
with what's happening. Because, yeah, I know we did try quite a few things. We did try a sleep consultant as well, and it was a method, and the method didn't work for us. It wasn't
mm.
it wasn't suitable to our child. It wasn't suitable to our life. So, yeah, I love
Yes.
the fact that you're actually looking at the whole family as well as a
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, and I get a lot of failed sleep programmers come to me. They'll be like, I failed. That sleep program didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's really knowing that sleep should be flexible, should be adaptable. They're not robots.
Mm,
Some foundations, yes, really helps and it can optimize sleep, but that's not it. Trying to keep doing a method till you're blue in the face when it really isn't connecting. Sometimes it's taking a step back, sometimes it's shifting our approach. And a lot of the times for me it is seeing, okay, what is the kind of block here? What is coming up for clients? And some clients might be really wanting to do things, but almost their body and how their belief system is holding them back as well. Like, oh, but I feel like I'm damaging my child. Well, we want to address that belief first because that's going to
yeah.
stop you moving forward in the first place. Let's talk about that. Let's understand where this is eventuated from. Has it been something you've read? Has it been something that you've just believed from day one? Like, how can we work on that first to
Yeah.
build the momentum forward? And every child sounds different as well. There's different temperaments. There's certain children that are just more like their nervous system is just more hyper aware. They see separation as danger, and it's just this whole process that we need to work with where our child's at in the mix, rather
Yeah.
than thinking that the goal is get them as independent as quickly as possible. It's like we really need to meet them where they're at. What they're doing is biologically normal. It's their wiring to seek proximity, be close, get that safety reassurance. Let's shape our support to, again, meet both parent and baby is so crucial.
Yeah.
And a key point you said, Vic, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I hope you don't know what you're doing because, I think we see that as a negative thing. But one of the
Mm,
biggest things we need to come into parenting with is that beginner's mindset. We are a beginner again. Even if
mm,
you've come from a workforce where you're like nailing it, you're a CEO, you're a manager, you are a beginner right now. You are doing your first driving lesson. And if you can just say, I'm not supposed to know what I'm doing, together we're experimenting. I'm working out, does this stick? Does that work? Has that helped? Oh my God, that fired them up even more. Maybe I need to shift. And it's having the confidence, because that we feel like there's this societal pressure that we should keep our baby happy at all times. We should know what we're doing. It should be
mm,
perfect. And that just hovers over us at these times instead of being like, actually, I'm not supposed to know what I'm doing. In fact, a perfect parent isn't the ideal parent because that does not set a child up for this crazy world we live in. We want
yeah.
them to know that life isn't perfect. If they can learn that from us, that we can make mistakes and try again. We have the beautiful process of rupture and repair. We mess up, we don't nail it. They cry an hour longer than we thought because we were trying something, that's okay. We have this beautiful repair system that allows us to step back in, provide that warmth and nurturing and sorry, like I was just frustrated, all the things. Even if they can't understand you, sometimes just saying it, it's like, sorry, mummy was just having one of those nights, I
Yeah.
love you. Then we move on. So that, not knowing what you're doing is actually really key part of your journey.
Oh, and that's so good to hear as well, because I think, yeah, for so many of us, yeah, like you said, we come from, all right, we've got our life sorted, we know what we're doing, and then yeah, you're like, I've got no idea what I'm doing.
No.
It's like, yeah, there's no manual, and they're really
Mm-mm.
like, even though there's lots of parenting books and there's lots of this and that, I think we seem to forget that every single child is so unique and so different that, like you said, between your first and your second child, things are still going to be different between the second and the third. Yeah, we're all our own unique beings, so of course that would make
Yeah.
sense with sleep as well. So
Yeah.
how does it work? I know you've mentioned like the nervous system, the mind-body connection. How does that kind of come into the work that you're doing with families? How does that help and yeah, kind of give you
Mm.
that different perspective, I guess?
Yeah, it's such a big piece, but really understanding that when our babies are born, they have that underdeveloped nervous system. There's only so much that is done on the inside, and so much is on the outside by their experiences around us, experiencing the world, feeling, get and building up that nervous system, which means that they borrow from ours a lot of the time. They don't have that self-regulation inbuilt yet. We didn't get a full self-regulation system until our mid-20s.
Mm,
So our babies are just really left in that vulnerable state of needing to use us so much in that support to feel safe and regulated again. A dysregulated child is just they're just out of their calm, out of their balance. Our job as a parents is to help them come back into balance, into calm again.
mm,
And the only way that we can give them our nervous system, if you like, is by being regulated ourselves.
yeah.
And calm is something we want to try and find. It's not feeling it's being calm enough. You don't have to be, completely calm and regulated. I think that can scare a lot of people because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
it is calm enough. So you might be holding your baby while they're crying, breathing. You might still
Yeah.
be frustrated thinking, oh my God, I've got XYZ to do. I've got, like I can hear my toddler screaming. There's
Yeah.
it's calm enough. It's like,
Yeah.
can I find enough calm so they can borrow from me?
Yeah.
Because a dysregulated child cannot regulate themselves. They need to
Mm,
borrow from us. And that's where that nervous system capacity, it's almost like when you become a parent, because you're put in so many situations that you feel so out of control with, it is creating a new nervous system kind of and
yeah.
rebuilding because and really getting curious around your triggers. That crying is really triggering me. It's creating this urgency in me. I wonder
Mm,
why that is. Like, it's not wrong, but why is it triggering me? If you can start with the awareness, you can start with like, okay, I just need to pause, like have a deep breath, or maybe it's splash some water on your face, or maybe it's highlighting that we just feel like we're just burnt out running and supporting and we haven't given ourselves enough. Even the
mm.
boring self-care moments help build our nervous system up. Taking a moment to go to the toilet on your own, having a shower, having a
What?
coffee. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the boring stuff. It's not necessarily the massages. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're amazing, but we're realistic in early parenting. There's not so
Mm,
many of these opportunities, but it is placing your oxygen mask on first so you can attend to others. It's such a cliche saying, but it is really true. And
yeah.
a lot of the work I'm doing is really trying to understand mum's triggers and overwhelm around sleep, where she's maybe putting too much pressure on us herself, where she's feeling like it goes from being able to respond to into reacting and trying to fix, like where does that happen, what is
Yeah.
the trigger for that. Let's work on building up some confidence and some new supportive messaging at those times, so that she always feels that she's got something. The last thing we want to do is leave parents toolless and say the only thing that's been working is feeding to sleep. And I say, well, you've got to stop doing that to get better sleep. It's just going to
Mm.
feel completely, you're just going to go into it already panicking because you're like,
Yeah.
I can't feed them. That one thing that has been working time and time again, even if I'm not loving it right now or I want another option, it still has been the only thing that I've had to regulate myself and my baby. So we
Mm.
want to say, like, let's not strip away things that do work. Let's
Yeah.
just build more options in. And yeah, I guess that's the big nervous system piece is, working out where we're feeling uncomfortable, working out that our babies need us to feel comfortable. So bridging the gap there with
Yeah.
either tools, understanding, knowledge. And they'll say things like, oh, I'm just realizing that when they do this, this is what gets me. And it's just these beautiful moments of awareness that we
Mm.
then can build off and be like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's try this approach because the last thing we need in early parenting if someone is feeling pressured or someone saying like you're failing, you're doing it wrong, because there is no right or wrong. Like
Yeah.
it's a case of getting curious. Okay, why isn't this working? Like, and I might say something like, how's your day been today? Oh God, well, my husband left for FIFO this morning and, we didn't leave on the best foot, or something like
Yeah.
that. You already know that capacity is going to be so much lower. Like your nervous system capacity for your child to borrow from is going to be narrowed. And we're like, okay, let's have some self-compassion in that
Yeah.
moment. And we can still know that every sleep is a new opportunity. Whether it ends up being an absolute shit show at that time is okay. And you're like,
Yeah.
what the hell just happened? Everything just went out the window. Sitting in blame or shame serves no one. It's a dead end street. So just go, oh my God, hopefully I can laugh about this one day, moving
Yeah.
through to the next one. Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah. And how lucky are these people that work with you to have someone that's so compassionate and understanding working beside them? Because, yeah, when you're sleep deprived, like your capacity
Hmm.
already is quite diminished. And, like, yeah, as you said, then you add on the other things that might be happening throughout the day. So, yeah, I love that you're there to kind of remind them that, it's okay. And
Yeah.
like you said, not take away the things that are working as well, because I think that's what another thing that so many people get told, oh, that's wrong, you shouldn't be doing that. Or yeah,
Mm,
like people, like I know at one point I got told that I'd done the wrong thing by my daughter at one point, and this was
mm,
by a pediatrician. Like it was devastating. Like I still remember it clear as a day, not like clear as a bell now. So,
yeah.
having someone like you beside them going, it's okay. It's okay to be doing this. It's okay if your capacity is not at the best that it is. That is just
Mm,
so reassuring, Jen. And like I said, it's just amazing that you're there to help people do this. So, like, oh, you're a bit of a godsend for, for
Thank
parents.
you. No,
Yeah.
yeah, as I said, I think I have such a driver for parents to feel empowered with options, to just enjoy it. Like early
Mm.
parenting, it's chaotic, it's messy. There's, these immature nervous systems running around everywhere. You're needing to share your nervous system with them multiple times during the day. It's a lot, but it
Yeah.
is so magical at the same time. And
Yeah.
trying to find, like you said, rest is such a crucial part, being able to have downtime, being able to get some decent stretches of sleep within biological norms, what we're expecting or what we can
Yeah.
say is possible. Shaping that to the individual family is really key because rest fuels our ability to think. We cannot think like logically, concentrate, do any of those higher
Mm.
thinking functions without sleep. It is our lifeline in early
Yeah.
parenting. It helps our capacity. It helps us, move from starting the day as Mary Poppins to Cruella de Vil by the end of the day. We want to kind of keep your Mary Poppins until the end,
Yeah.
where you can feel like you're just showing up and recognizing the humans on this earth learning. I'm learning too. And
Mm.
yeah, I think that's just such a godsend. And when we do take the pressure off, I just literally see so much of a roll-on effect. Like they might come to me with like 10 night wakes and just be like, I don't even know where to start. We
Yeah.
start at the falling asleep and we just see what happens. A lot of the time when we're working on stuff there, within our capacity, the rest just falls into place. So it's
Mm.
not feeling like we have to just do this crazy intervention, like rip the band-aid off, do this. And it's just everyone's nervous system is going to be like, whoa, this is too
Yeah.
much. your baby has learned and practiced and repeated this same messaging with you, and we rip it all away in the first day or two, like
Mm.
that is a lot. Your babies,
Yeah.
depending on especially their temperament, it can really throw them too much, and we can't work with that. Nobody learns in that much dysregulation. So it's understanding that, yes, we're going to find their challenge zones within a normal, healthy kind of place for their age and stage that we
Yeah.
know. This is a healthy challenge zone we can explore. Okay, yeah, they handled it well. Oh my gosh, that really threw them. Let's just try this once in the day,
Yeah.
because 3 or 4 times it's not going to be viable for them. So
Mm.
really building a new message of safety for them, because they can't see perspective like we can. They can't see, oh, that cot's a great place, mum will always come when I cry. Like, they
Yeah.
don't see it. They attach what's safe through perception, so what they hear, feel, see, taste, touch. If they've had a lot of that contact going from that to the cot space, they're
Mm.
losing all their safety messaging in one hit. So we really want to start to foster that into the way we support and approach sleep for families.
Yeah, which makes sense as well. I mean, even as adults, when we're trying to make changes, if we try and overhaul everything, it doesn't work. And our brain's kind of like,
Mm,
no, that's not okay. So it's
yes.
totally understandable that, these tiny little babies of ours or toddlers or whoever we're trying to improve their sleep of course, they're going to have the same
Mm,
reaction because, yeah, totally understandable.
yeah. And a more immature reaction, right? Because they
Mm,
can't regulate themselves. So they're going to need co-regulation to support that to be okay and safe. And that's just another additional thing that we need to have available to give them. So having that empathy and sturdiness, I think, is really key for through any change. Like you said,
yeah,
Vic, even for us, change can be challenging. Even creating a new habit of ourselves, going to the
mm,
gym, or doing something that really will benefit our life, it's still hard, and our brain will just be like, nah, sit on the couch, don't worry
yeah.
about it. So
Yeah, so
so we
true.
know, yeah, it is understanding that change has some discomfort. We can't get that growth and that place of sustainability without feeling discomfort first. It's almost knowing that that's going to be part of the journey, but we can
Yeah.
manage how much discomfort our individual nervous systems can handle and still build that momentum forward.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. And I mean, out of curiosity, do you ever work with families with older children with sleep issues as well? Is that something that you?
So my certification goes up to the age of 5.
Yeah.
However, I have got older kids, so I guess I can bring some of the learnings in. And there's some
Mm,
times where I might be supporting a family with a younger child, but then they're like, "Hey, can I talk about Rosie?"
yeah.
And they'll just want like a few little tips and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's often definitely something that comes up occasionally. But I guess my sort of passion area is that early parenting. That's what I love the most. Even for me, I'm still learning with my older kids. Like, there's
Mm,
times where you're only recently with my 9-year-old, I was like, God, what's going on at bedtime? She was in these anxiety spirals, and I found that we were going through these massive long narrations before bed of like, she's safe, the world's safe, blah, all these things.
mm,
And I was thinking, this seems to be, I feel I've got a gut feeling this isn't helping, but I don't want her to feel these feelings before bed. And that
yeah.
was a big thing. And I started doing my own learnings, even for for my youngest 9, who's 9. And we started to shorten down the messaging. I started to realize I was feeding her anxious loop of thoughts, me soothing it. But realistically, if I got very, very curious, I was not wanting her to worry before bed. So I was actually soothing my discomfort
Yeah.
of, you can't worry, you can't feel like, this before bed. You must feel completely pleasant and safe every time, and all the things.
Yeah.
So it is that balance of hard and soft parenting, that firm and
Mm,
kind, those boundaries that they need, because in that moment, they don't have that brain capacity to sort that out and organize that themselves. So
yeah.
for me, it took shortening our little speech. We still say something like, Mum is safe, Dad is safe, sleep now, worry can be, and we can still sleep. Something along that
Yeah.
lines we've got to. And there can be, as I'm leaving, like, is everyone safe? Blah, blah, blah. And I say, yes, sleep time now, Emery. And, there's this still gut feeling of wanting to do more. But I
Yeah.
know that that has fed over my experiences with her and me.
Yeah.
It's fed these anxious loops. So I have to really kind of step in as that leader at that point and say, like, as I said, it's kind. It's not go to sleep now. Like, that is enough.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that sentence one more time with you. It's like, you're safe,
Yeah.
and time to sleep now. And that's finished. We don't keep talking.
Mm.
Um, and help her then find some coping mechanisms of her own. That's very normal. It's co-regulation from us, but she still can start to grow her self-regulation as well. So we've put
Yeah.
up at the moment, it's working very well actually, is I know one of the things for insomnia, they might tell you to do math at sleep time to sort of get your brain to focus on something else rather than I'm still awake, and these to-do
Yeah.
lists kind of take your brain focus to something else. So we've got these little times tables, and I'm like, okay, to help yourself learn some tools, because I've given her a few options.
Yeah.
But I said, you've got to try, it's going to feel hard because you're used to these loops. These are some things you can do to help yourself if you're
Yeah.
struggling. You're in a safe house, everything's okay.
Yeah.
So she's been doing the times tables, and she came out her room the other day in the morning and said, Mum, say my 3 times tables, test me on them. And she was nailing it. And I'm
Oh,
like,
I
wow.
love it. So, it's beneficial as well.
It's exactly. I'm like, wow. Like I said to her, I said, look at you killing two birds. You're
Yeah.
helping yourself in your body feel safer to let go and know that everything's okay. And you're also learning your times
Yeah.
tables.
What a win.
Like, yes, such a parenting win.
Yeah,
So
I love
yeah,
it.
still learning. I think we never stop learning in
No.
parenting and questioning ourselves. That's so normal. Sometimes I think of a conversation and I go, oh, probably didn't handle that the best, or
Yeah.
I jumped in with a no without really thinking it through. And
Mm.
but you've got the blessing, like we said earlier on, rupture and repair. If you
Yeah.
say something, you realize you sort of said it without thinking, or you were just, overwhelmed in that moment, just go back to your child. They're a human. Just say, hey,
Yeah.
Mum just said that. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't really listen to what you were trying to ask me. Should we start again? Do you want to go
Yeah.
through that? And that's what we do, right? That's what
Mm.
being a human is all about.
Yeah. And it's so good for them to see that as well and to see that example from us.
Hmm.
So they know how to do it themselves. But
Yes.
yeah, it's interesting while you were talking as well about your 9-year-old. I'm like, there's just also recognizing that there's so many different developmental things that are happening at different ages. And obviously that plays a big part in sleep, like, the hormones starting to come
Oh.
in and,
Hmm.
their awareness and their own brain development as well. Like there's so many different factors as well. So I think that's where it is always good, like you said, to remain curious and be like, I wonder why this is happening. And like if there's, something more going on like biologically that we need to kind of assess as
Mm.
well. And yeah, I think that's always something to keep in mind as a parent because sometimes we're just like, what is going on here? And
Yeah.
it's meant to happen. Some things are just meant to happen. That's completely normal for their development. And I think we need to recognize that as well, that, it's not always about us or what we're doing. It's just, that's just
Mm.
what their body's needing at that time. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think definitely that is just ask them the questions as well. Why
Mm,
why are you feeling like this at bedtime? Has it come from anywhere?
yeah.
Sometimes it is, and sometimes they can't say why. They just have a feeling inside. And
Yeah.
it's, if we think about worry at bedtime, this might be the 50th time they've ever felt worry in their life. That it's still such a
Mm,
new feeling for them.
yeah.
So it's like they haven't had experience with this feeling and everything being okay. So sometimes it's just a case of it's a new feeling. I've not had practice working through, and it's just there. And then we just want to bring safety to that. Emotions do have an exit, they do pass, and it will
Yeah.
feel better. And just like you mentioned with hormones, definitely for my 12-year-old girl, we've had a few chats about explaining that, she's going to be 13 at the end of the year. how her brain will be doing so much rewiring in those teenage years. Because she said at bedtime the other day, because bedtime's where everything comes out, right?
It's when we get to actually stop and think, I think, as well. Like
Yes.
our days are so busy. It's the one time
Yeah.
we can just be.
And it's like allowing, I think what I've noticed as my kids have got older, it's allowing more space for that because
Mm,
it's very normal. Like you said, Vic, you get to the end of the day and they have been going from school, maybe doing an after school activity, all the things, and then they get to bed and it's all just starting to get organized for
yeah.
themselves, and then some things don't feel as good, and understanding that as your kids get older they might need you more at bedtime. It might not just
Yeah.
be, a quick settle and down and they're off to sleep in 10 minutes. They actually might need you in a bigger capacity because
Mm,
emotionally and biologically there is so much going on.
yeah.
And that's what I said to my daughter. I said, your brain is literally rewiring like right now. That you're going to have feelings that don't make sense, and
Yeah.
and just so many things, and just so many different thoughts that you've never felt or before,
Yeah.
and just
There's big
opening the
renovations
doors.
happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, your brain is just under construction again. And,
Yeah.
just feel like you can reach out and talk it through. I'll always listen. But I do want to normalize that this is normal for you. As much as it feels uncomfortable, it will pass and you will feel, you will be able to sleep still and you will feel better.
Yeah. And that's so reassuring for them to know as well, because sometimes it does feel like your mind's a bit of a, like, what's going on in here? And they're probably
Mm,
not understanding that. So to explain, yeah, this is normal. You will be,
yeah,
you will be thinking new thoughts and having new reactions and all the rest of it, and letting them know that that's to be expected. So,
yeah,
and I love how
yeah,
open you are with that communication with them as well. It's, yeah, very
yeah.
reassuring.
It's
So,
funny. My son will be like, "Oh, mom, can you not? Like, can you not go through?" I'll be like, "Jax, well, your brain's doing all of this." He's like,
yeah.
"Oh my God." Like, my
Not this
daughters are
again.
very receptive, but my son, but I feel like I've given him enough acknowledgement that this is okay.
Yeah.
And, he's just being a typical teenage boy that's just
Yeah.
like, "Shut up, mom. Like, this is
Yeah.
not what I want to
So
hear."
not cool. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But it's
Yeah.
it's funny. It's just knowing that, I think just that acknowledgement and going, okay, well, I planted the seed, and at
Yeah.
least he knows that he's not just, yeah, going crazy inside for sure.
Yeah. That's so good. And
Mm.
I guess in terms of like all the people that you've worked with, and yeah, are there any kind of patterns or any main things that you've noticed that are helpful when it comes to sleep, in any capacity, whether it's, for younger children, older children? Like, are there kind of some guidelines that you might have that are helpful for parents that, perhaps are a bit like, oh gosh, is this the right track, or what am I doing here? Like, is there any kind of, yeah, anything major that you've kind of
Yeah.
noticed?
I have been thinking a bit of a framework lately of trying to kind of incorporate steps that I think is really helpful. I did come up with something called REST, where it's R for relationship. It's focusing on the relationship between you and your child. If you can just get to know them and know that they don't care about, whether you've got a clean house or the shopping's been done. Like, they're just so solely almost blinkered to the relationship with you. Their job is to just create that strong attachment, that trust, that inbuilt safety system that you've got them if they're having a hard time. So your relationship matters. If you're feeling triggered by your baby's development, they're crying, or you've got some things that you feel aren't going so well, like feeding, like just start with getting curious there first,
Yeah.
and building that. So definitely know that you weren't ever meant to do this journey alone. And sometimes they are showing us signs where they're generally uncomfortable, and we do need to investigate that. So that's that getting to know piece. We get so busy, but really spending that time with them is just so crucial.
Yeah.
Um, then moving into E, which is like expectations. Like, sometimes we put too much, a very high expectation on a very little kid.
Yeah.
A child to be out here, there, everywhere, and then to settle beautifully in a cot, probably not going to happen. So it's just really understanding that their nervous system is immature. What we find stimulating can just be like going on a roller coaster for them. So knowing that if we've had a busy few days, it's really normal to see this roll-on effects of that, where they're just very tired, need to kind of, adjust back into a home day. It's definitely not feeling like you can't leave the home. I really want to emphasize it's important for our mental health to get out and about and do the things. Practicing naps on the go can be just such a great way of doing so, combining both needs at once.
Yeah.
So, having really kind of checking in with their expectations. I do have on sleep just like a little free guide that people can download, and it just shows you how many naps, awake times. They're there as a guide.
Yeah.
It's not that this is how it has to be, but you might look at it, for example, you might look at your 8-month-old and you've been doing 2-hour awake windows, and then you go, oh, they can have up to 4, like sometimes. So like, wow, okay, that's something I can look into. So
Yeah.
expectations, because I couldn't think of just one it's environment as well.
Love
Um,
it.
so, we know what our bodies respond best to. Our circadian rhythm responds to food, light, social interaction. So, a brightly lit home and trying to get a 2-year-old to go to bed and say it's bedtime and we've got the TV on, we've got activity. It's just not matching. We need our environment to cue what the next step is, and to that help that nervous system prepare for sleep. We don't go from a pub to the bed and we're able to switch off. We need to look at our environment. Are we preparing for that adjustment, building messaging into that so they know what's coming? And things like that can distract sleep, bright lights or stuff like that can just disturb sleep and create that. So really looking into the environment as well
Yeah.
can be just an easy thing that you do, and it can just transform what the sleep is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then safety is S. So that's really coming down to that safety and how the parent's feeling. If they're feeling urgency, you're not feeling safe in that in that moment. So we want to get you feeling safe in your messaging. It can bring in that knowledge and understanding, a new toolkit for you that you can work towards. And that internal sense of safety we want our baby to feel by a consistent response system. It's not necessarily having the same response in each time, but it's having the consistency. Someone comes, this is how I get soothed, and that feeling inside. Another whole big part to safety is airway health, and this is things looking into tongue ties, lip ties, snoring. If our baby's sleeping with their mouth open, their tongue is sitting on the bottom of their mouth, they're not going to get that safety feeling internally. The tongue, if we were to tilt our head back and shut our eyes, our tongue naturally goes up to the roof of our mouth.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what signals nervous. It connects to our vagus nerve. It allows our body to feel safe. So there's lots of kids I meet in my journey, like especially it kind of hits toddler years, and this really comes undone. And so yeah, airway health is such a primary source of internal safety in their system as well. So something I've done extra education on to guide parents if need be.
Love it.
So safety, then you've got temperament and time. So temperament, like we talked about earlier, every child's different. There's going to be some children that just need to borrow a lot more from you because it's just they have a more sensitive system. We want to look into that and know that nothing's wrong, but we just want to adapt to our individual children, plus our temperament too. We can be very sensitive and have this like very spirited child. Like we're constantly feeling tested by that because they are so opposite to us in so many ways.
Yeah.
So bringing safety to understanding our temperament as well in that moment is key.
Yeah.
And time is our best friend. It's time to experiment, time to grow and learn, make mistakes, try something different. Time, honestly, it's just sleep is so evolving. Like your baby will need you more in the beginning, and as they slowly start to get older and older, I wouldn't say they need you less, they need you in different ways, or
Yes.
maybe not in such a physical capacity as they once did.
Yes.
So, just as we talked about older kids needing more time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, really understanding that, it can feel like this is your whole world right now, but it does get easier. You will get more confident because you will have many more months of being a parent and many more
Yeah.
years of being a parent. And just, yeah, having that compassion for that learning growth and giving yourself that time is crucial.
Oh, I love that, Jen. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I've got two more questions before we finish up. But one, firstly, how can people work with you? Where can they find you? What do you like? What are you doing out there?
Yeah, yeah. So I do have my own podcast, Thriving Parenting. That's useful there's, I think, 100 episodes now. You can scroll through and see if any of them tickle your fancy. There's some on sleep, there's some on mindset, just anything really that helps your early parenting journey, with some guests as well, just like you, Vic. And then I'm online, usually mostly on Instagram. I float in and out of TikTok. I need to get more consistent with TikTok, but sometimes it's just managing it all, right, Vic? um,
Yeah, I know.
yeah. So my Instagram is sleep_thrive_grow. So I'm active on there most days. My services involve one-on-one, or I do have sleep guides, and I do have a membership where people will come into my world and hang out there where I answer some questions every week. I try and not overwhelm you with too many things. It's more that safe space of really just feeling like held in parenting. Have I mentioned everything? I think so, but there is a really wide range depending on what you need. Some people get so many positives out of a one-off coaching session, and for someone else, my signature three week program, my Sleep Godmother program, where we're one-on-one for 21 days as we're sort of growing and building and learning about ourselves and learning about the messaging we're giving and optimizing sleep at the same time, is what parents need and what they feel gives them the most support and the step forward to feel confident in their parenting. So I don't believe there's a right or wrong in the amount of support you need. Some of us need a personal trainer. Some of us are highly motivated to just go to the gym on our own. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, but just recognizing where you're at and knowing that support in some capacity in early parenting I just think it's essential personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Love it.
yeah, that's where
Awesome.
you'll
And I love
find
how
me.
you've got, yeah, different options for, yeah, depending on what you need and budget and all the rest of it. So that's great to hear. And
Yeah.
last question before we finish up, if you could leave the listeners with just one piece of advice, what would that be?
Pause. It's got to be pause. It's like my favorite thing to do. It's what's that little saying? It's like there's a stimulus, there's a gap between a stimulus and a response. So
Yeah.
even if your baby's crying, if they're in a safe place, just pause. Just give yourself a minute, because you're more likely going to be able to get curious, read the situation with more clarity. If you're rushing in there, your emotions are all just shaken up. It's like a snow globe. You've got to wait for the flakes to settle.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean leaving them for 10 minutes. It's like just a few minutes to just be going to breathe. And same
Yeah.
with older parenting, right? It's, their two siblings are shouting at each other. Just pause. Do you need
Yeah.
to get involved? Are they kind of moving through this? Like if they're safe, sometimes it's a case of them learning how to navigate that. We
Mm.
often just want to fix and stop, but actually like pausing, recognizing what it's doing, what that trigger is in you, telling your body it's not an emergency. That's what the pause does. We cannot change and choose our response if our body's like shallow breathing, fast heart rate. We have
Mm.
to work on our body first, and then our mind can follow. So I just say pause. I do it so often. Even my kids will say, if it has been particularly chaotic, they hear me like, and they're like, Mom, why are you heavy breathing? And I'm just bringing my nervous
Yeah.
system, back online so I can access that higher thinking. Otherwise, I'm going to just be reacting everywhere, like
Yeah.
reacting all over the place, and there's no regulation happening. So pause. Just give
I love
yourself a
it.
moment. It's a bit of self-compassion.
So good. Thank you so much, Jen. I really have loved chatting to you today, and I'm sure the listeners will get a lot out of it as well. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully, yeah, it lands well and everyone gets something, some gold nugget today.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Vic.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Mindful Educator Podcast. I would love it if you could help get the word out, either by leaving a review, sharing on your socials, or telling your friends, or even all three. If you would like to get in contact, head to my Instagram at the.victoria.r or my Facebook, Victoria R. My DMs are always open. Thanks again for listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.